Hi, all of you. Is my sound is audible? Are you able to hear me? Okay. So today we are going to see about the VPC part. Okay. So VPC is just like a virtual private cloud. So basically, till now, whatever the things you are doing, right? Whatever the machines you are running, everything. Okay. All these things are created inside a VPC only. VPC is just like a isolation. Okay. So basically, this is a AWS account, but inside that AWS account, there can be that multiple teams are working, multiple projects you are working on, right? And you don't want that whatever the EC2 instances we are creating and whatever the resources we are creating for that particular project, that should not be communicating with the another project like that, right? So that type of the isolation you can get it using the concept called VPC. Okay. So by default, whenever you create a AWS account, okay, that time they automatically create a VPC that is known as the default VPC. Let me log in and then show you. Okay, so they have by default a single VPC. Okay, this one, and currently whatever the resources you are creating, it is getting created inside this VPC. Okay, but if I want that, I want to launch some different instances, group of instances, some different resources. Okay, that I want to separate it from this. Okay, then I will create a separate VPC and I will create all the resources inside that VPC. So the EC2 instances which is running inside this VPC will not have any connectivity to that. Okay, so that type of the things we want to achieve. So if you'll try to read some blogs about the VPC or something, right? So they will give you the idea called there are some default VPC, then there is a non-default VPC. We are mostly going to talk it about as a non-default VPC that we are going to create. Okay. So benefit is you can take the control everything. Okay. And if you talk about a VPC, right? So it is something like this. You are building a big home, okay, or like multiple floors are there, everything, okay. Now, on if there are multiple floors are there, so definitely since all the things are getting a smart, right? So on each floor there will be a smart TV, a smart fridge, like that, right? So all the components will be there, right? You will be using laptops, computers on each floor, right? So what we want that a proper network communication. Okay, we want a proper network communication across all entire building. Okay, so for doing that, what is the minimum thing first you will require? The first thing you will require a internet, right? A internet you will be taking it connection from the outer world, like a broadband provider or something. They will put a wire in your home, right? And with that particular wire, a internet will come in your home, right? That particular wire, okay, you will be connected to some router, right? That particular wire of the internet will be connected to some router to your home, okay. And that particular router is connected to the multiple router, like for each floor you created multiple router, right? On the first floor there is a separate router, on the second floor there is a separate router for better coverage, right? So this particular wire will be connected to one router, and from one router all other router will be configured using the LAN cable, everything, okay. Now if the first router, take an example, is connected, okay, on the first floor, so this thing you can understand as the first floor, this you can understand as a second floor, okay. So if we are keeping the devices on the first floor, okay, like this is the first floor of the building, like that way. So whatever the EC2 instances, whatever the laptops you are running inside the first floor, they will be internally connected using the switch. Anybody know about the switch? Do you know about switch in networking? Anybody? No? Have
No,
you
no.
seen this type of the components anywhere?
Yes.
Right? So this is the switch. Okay. So this type of the switch can help you to communicate internally. Like take an example, there is a floor, there is a lab. Okay, a lab we are setting it up in our one of our floor. Okay, in which there will be 50 computers. I want that all these 50 computers should communicate to each other. Then what I will do is I will take a LAN cable from this laptop. I will communicate, keep it here. Similarly, one LAN cable from this laptop to this one. So all these laptops will be connected to this particular switch. And since all the laptops LAN cable are connected to this switch, so now if this laptop want to communicate to this laptop, they can do it. They will transfer the data to here this switch will transfer the data to this particular laptop, right? So a proper communication is happening. So if you are communicating inside the same area, local area, right? So switch can help you, okay? And that's what they are telling you, right? From your internet provider, you are getting the connection to the router. From router, you are connecting to the switch, and from switch, you are connecting to your laptop. Maybe you will be thinking that in your home only router is there. You are directly connecting your router to your laptop, right? But whatever the router you are buying from the market, that comes with both the functionality, router plus switch, right? That's why behind your router, you will see this type of the LAN port will be there, right? Whatever the router you are using for your home, right? That comes with this type of the LAN cables, everything. So basically your router will act as a switch also. Okay. But internally, if you try to discuss, so router is a separate component, switch is separate component. To make it feasible that people don't have to buy two components separately, right? That's why they kept it both the things together like this way. Okay. But in the real world scenario, if you go a little bit more deep, so your router will be connected to the switch. From switch, you will be distributing the traffic to the multiple computer. Okay, make sense?
Yes.
And also in another way, also you can think that router, whatever the router you are using, maximum 3 to 4 LAN port will be there inside that router, right? But take an example, I have 10 computers. I want to attach 10 computers using the LAN cable. So in that case, router cannot help us. Only 3 to 4 port is there. So what I will do is I will put out one cable from here and I will keep it in this switch, right? As soon as I will keep it, now see how many connection I can keep it, right? So that type of the benefits we can get it. So basically, inside each floor, now I will act as a switch. Here, one switch I will keep it. In this floor, I will keep one switch. Okay, and all this switch will be connected to the router. Okay, so if there are 5 EC2 instances present in this floor or 5 laptop is present in this floor, if they want to communicate to each other internally, how they will be communicating using switch or router? Anybody? If all the 5 laptops are present in this floor only, just give me a second. Yeah, so I was asking that if there are 5 EC2 instances or 5 laptops are running in this floor, okay, so will communicate to each other using the switch or this router? What do you think?
Switch.
Switch, right? Because they are on the same floor, okay?
Hmm.
Similarly, whatever the EC2 instances, everything is present on this floor, they will also try to communicate using the switch only internally, okay? But if this is the laptop present on the first floor and this laptop present on the second floor, if they both want to communicate together, how they will be connecting using this router, right? Because router is the one who is distributing, right? Because here the different switch will be there, here different switch will be there, right? But if this laptop want to communicate to this laptop, since both are connected to the same router, so still they have a proper communication there, right? So they can connect it, okay? But now take an example, some person is sitting outside of this building, okay, on some different city or something. If there you want to communicate to their laptop or something, like currently what we are doing the communication, right? We are doing from the different laptops, right? Sitting in different city. So what is happening in our case? Switch is not helping us, right? We are going through the router going through the internet gateway to the internet. From there we are managing it. Make sense?
Mhm.
So this entire infrastructure is known as the BPC. Okay, and whatever the resources we are going to keep it in this BPC, like what either keep it in the first floor or second floor, it doesn't matter. But the person sitting outside from this, okay, if I'll not give him the power to communicate directly to this machine, they will be not able to do so. Okay, totally we will control it, that to whom we should connect, to whom we should disconnect, something like that. Okay, so this type of the entire setup we have to do, and for doing these setups we'll be seeing the concept of route tables, subnets, right? And then other than that, okay, we'll see that what are the components here. Meanwhile, just if this diagram is clear, well and good. Okay, so you can create the VPC directly also. Okay, for directly creating the VPC, the first thing what you have to do, you have to just click on create VPC here. Okay, so when you are creating the VPC, they will ask you with the name something like this. So you can just give the name like my VPC something. Okay, then they are asking you for CIDR block. Okay, so basically when you are creating a VPC here, you have to tell some IP address range here, right? That whatever the computers is going to be launched inside either on the first floor or second floor, they will get some IP address, right? Private IP address. So from what particular range you are going to take the IP address, that you have to write it here. Okay, so you can take some range or something. Take an example, I want that whatever the laptop is going to start or EC2 instance going to start inside this VPC, their IP address would start with 10.11.0.0/24. Okay. If I'm going to write /24, not /24, let's give it /16. Okay. So if we'll give /16, that means this IP and this IP can be anything. Okay. What is the meaning of this? So something like this, take an example. Okay, so see, if I am writing the IP address called 11.0.0, so this is just a single IP, right? It can associate to only one machine. Make sense? So that means only one machine can be launched. Okay. If I am saying that 10.11.0.0 /24 meaning is basically the last zero, the last octet after this dot. Okay, last value is this zero. This can be changed. Okay, so if this can be changed, so how many times it can be changed? So 2 to the power 8. Okay, 2 to the power 8, that is 256. Okay, so 256 machine. How it can possible that 256 machine can be associated? So basically when you are writing this IP, so this IP meaning is your IP will start like this 0.0, then the next IP will be 10.11.0.1. Okay, 10.11.0.2, right? Like this way it will keep going, and it will keep go up to which number? Anybody can tell what will be the last number here? 0 dot
250,
come again?
254,
255 actually, right?
255, sorry. Yeah.
Because if you will start the counting from 0 to 255, then total 256 machine will be there. Okay, and maximum you can go up to 255 only. Here also you can go maximum up to 255 only. So basically whatever the IP address in the world is available, it will start from 0.0.0.0 and it will go up to max to 255.255 .255.255. We have to keep some range between this only, right? So I choose this range, that means we are starting from here. If I choose it here /16, okay, then what will happen? They will fix this zero number, okay, and then they will start the counting from 0, 1, 2 to 255. Once this 255 is completed, then they will start the counting like this 10.11.1.0, and then again they will start like this 10.11.1.1, right? So like this way they will be keep going again up to 255. So if I am giving /16, right, so total how many combination can be possible? Anybody? See, if this is the thing, 255, right? Again 255, again 255, right? So total how many times? Total
16.
256 times, right?
Yeah.
So it will be 256 into 256. Make sense?
Yeah.
So 256, 250, it will be around like 65,536, something like this. Okay. And it will be basically equal to the 2 to the power 16. Okay. So whatever the value you are writing, like if I'm writing /24, so just subtract it by 32. So it is 8. So 2 to the power 8, that is 256. Okay. So these things you can calculate using calculator also. This is the subnet calculator I gave it. This link you can simply open it. Whatever the calculation I told you, if you are not good with it, you can just simply write some value here and here. They will give you guidance on thing. So take an example, if somebody is writing here 10.11.0.0 and they are writing /32, okay, or /32. So maximum only one IP can be possible. Okay, so calculate it. So they are saying only one IP will be associated, that is 10.11.0.0. But if I say that, okay, let's go with /24. So /24 meaning is 256 IPs. Okay, I shown you how that, and that's what they are saying. Your counting will start from 10.11.0.0 and it will go up to 10.11.0.255. Exactly same what we written here. Okay. Similarly, if somebody is going with /60, so total how many? 65,536. Okay. And they are clearly saying your counting will start from 10.11.00 and it will go up to 10.11.255.254. And in between this total 256 into 256 combination can be possible. That is exactly equal to the 65,536. Similarly, you can go for bigger number like that, right? And this many computers anybody can launch it. Okay. So we have to decide. So take an example. I am going here when I am creating the BPC, I'm giving the counting with 0.0/16. That means if somebody is asking you maximum how many computers EC2 instance you can create inside this BPC, 65,536. That's it. Okay. And come down, click on create BPC. So now a VPC got created. So you'll see that another VPC came with the name called my VPC, and this is having the CIDR what I decided. Previously, whatever the CIDR they have, what they decided. Now I decided this. Okay. So this is a VPC we created. Then similarly, we have to create subnet. Subnet is basically whatever the things you are seeing inside this floor is just known as a subnet. So if you want to create two subnet, then you can just click on this subnet button here. Okay. And in this subnet, previously they already have the three subnet. Take an example, I want to create my subnet. So I will select which VPC I want to create. I want to create the subnet inside this. It is just like a creating a floor. Okay. So I'm giving the name as subnet1. Okay. And in which availability zone you want to create in the subnet. Okay. You can select any of the availability zone. It's totally your choice. I'm selecting 1A. Now what is the IP address you are giving? So VPC CADR block is this one. So definitely the subnet range will be between this only. You cannot go outside this. Okay. So take an example. I'm saying that subnet one will start with 10.11.1.0/24. Maximum 256 computer can be possible in the subnet one. That's the only meaning here. And then I'm selecting one more subnet and I'm creating this subnet as the name called subnet 2. And here I'm saying its IP address range will be 10.11.2.0/24. So it will also get 256 IP, but its IP will start with 2.0 like this. And that's it. Click on create subnet. So now two subnet got created. We can verify also subnet 1 and subnet 2. Whatever the computers you are going to create in the subnet 1, they will get the IP from this range and they will get the IP from this range. Once the VPC got set up, subnet got set up, right, then you'll require an internet gateway also, right? Until and unless you'll not get an internet connection, how your VPC will work. So I will just click on create internet gateway and I'm saying the internet gateway name as my IGW, something like this. Okay. And I can simply click on create internet gateway. So now the thing is, since we clicked on create internet gateway, so now this internet gateway is created. That means we took a internet connection, right? Once we took the internet connection, to whom I have to attach? We have to attach it to the VPC or we have to attach it to the subnet? Where this internet connection we should give? To this VPC or to this subnet? Where it is?
VPC.
VPC, right? So this internet gateway, we have to click on action, attach to. See, they're giving us option also that you can attach it to the VPC. And one VPC can get only one internet gateway. Okay. So like this, attaching it. So now this is done. So till now, what is the things we done? We created two subnets, we created a VPC, we created an internet gateway. Router by default they create, switch by default they create, but in this router, how they will try to communicate, that type of the rules I have to decide using the route table. Rule I have to decide. Okay. Currently there is no rules, anything here. We can simply click on create route table, and I can say that my route rule something like this I can tell. Okay. And for which BPC? My BPC. Okay. And just click on create route table. So basically a route table I created. In this they are saying that currently I have a rule. Okay. They already have a rule here. Okay. And this is not associated to any subnet. Okay. So but they are saying here that this is the rule we created, in which if any computer is present, okay, the meaning here is if they are saying if any computer is present either in this VPC or in this VPC, I will let you connect. Why? Because this is a rule 10.11.0.0/16. If somebody want to connect locally, I will able to do so. But what I am doing is, if some computer want to go to the internet, the thing is, if this computer want to go to this internet, they can connect easily using this router because they have the rule here configured. Any IP address, whatever the range I given in the VPC. But if my this computer want to go to the internet, how they will go, right? Because there is no rule currently added. So I am saying here edit routes, okay, and I'm just clicking on add route, and I'm saying that if my computer want to go to the internet, for internet IP address is 0.0.0.0/0. If you write like this, that means any IP available in the world, I should go. That's the meaning of this, okay? And how they will go? So I'm saying to going to the internet, you will definitely require the help of the internet gateway, okay? So I am saying to this router that router, do one thing. If somebody is coming to you and they are telling you that they want to go to the internet, how they will tell them that they want to go to the internet? By mentioning this destination, that any other IP address that does not belongs to this range. Then what you have to do is you have to forward them to the internet gateway. Make sense? Which internet gateway? Whatever the internet gateway I got created. Is this thing getting clear? What is the meaning of this?
Yeah, a bit complex, but yeah.
No, see, just try to think. Now, there are two computers in each floor, right?
Yes.
If this computer present on the first floor want to communicate to the second floor, they can directly communicate using the router only. Router is the one who can give you the cross communication. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if this computer is going to the router and that they are telling that I want to connect to the IP address called 10.11.1.2, right? So 10.11.1.2 will come inside this range. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they will directly connect using the local connection. Locally, they will connect. They don't require any internet. Okay. But if somebody is saying like Google IP 8.8.8.8, 8.8.8.8, will it come in this range?
No.
No, right? So when router will transfer your traffic to this machine or this machine, you will not able to reach to the Google because Google is never running inside this. Google is running outside the world, right? So if Google is running outside the world, then I have to tell, right? If some IP address other than this coming, that means any IP address in the world, then if we want to give the connection, we will be giving using the internet gateway. Basically, you have to route the traffic to this internet. Then only we'll be able to go. That's the only meaning, right? Basically, it is something like this. From your mobile phone, you are going to the google.com. But how it is going? From your mobile phone, it is going to your router. From router, it is going to your broadband provider. From your broadband provider, it is going to the internet. And from there, you are seeing the google.com, right? So
Yeah.
exactly this flow is there. Hope this is clear now. So simply do the save changes. So we created this rule, okay, but this rule, like this particular router, till now we did not attach to any of the subnet, right? See here, the connection is there. This router is attached to this one. This router is attached to this one, right? Then only they will communicate. So for that, there is a subnet association is there. Simply click on edit subnet association, and I want to attach to both the subnet, okay, and that's it. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we attach the router. So basically, if this diagram is clear, then everything will be clear, right? So till now, we created the VPC, we created two subnets, we got the internet connection, we configured the route table also. Internally, they want to communicate, they will forward here. If they want to go to the outer world, they will forward to the internet gateway. Okay. So this four thing only you have to do the setup. Okay. Once this entire thing is done, now you know what is the benefit of this, why we done this all. Okay, so let me just duplicate this page and let me show you. Today mostly we'll discuss about the theoretical part only. Configuring this entire thing using Terraform, we'll take it for the next class, and that will be most probably the last class for us. Okay, so just try to understand this concept here.
So,
You
sir,
know, like
how do we know the billing for this one?
billing for
Billing, for the VPC connections, how do we know the rate, price, billing price?
no,
Generally, how much?
everything will come in your AWS account only, right? But creating
Okay.
the VPC, creating the subnet does not cost you any extra money or something.
Okay.
Okay. But whatever the resources you are going to create, like EC2 instances, everything, that is going to cost.
Okay. For example, when we created the pen drive, the charges are different, right? It is not like that.
No, so it is VPC is not like that. VPC is for the networking. Okay.
Okay.
It is something like that. We are creating a network type of the infrastructure. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for that, they are not charging, they will charge you for the resources, whatever you are using, RAM, CPU, hard disk. For that, they are charging you,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So this is the VPC. Like what is the difference here? This is the page. Now take an example. We are launching the EC2 instances. By default, till now, we are launching the EC2 instances in the default VPC. Okay. What is the IP address they are giving us to these instances? What is the IP? If we try to see it here, 172.31, right?
Yeah.
This IP is coming from this range. Make sense?
Yeah.
That means this particular instances is getting created in this VPC, right? So similarly, if I will create new instance in this VPC, our IP address would come from 10.11 range. Okay. So now let's come to launch instance. Okay. And I'm starting a new machine now. So I will give the name as my EC2. Okay. And again, the process will same only. You'll be using Amazon Linux second AMI, instance type, everything will be same. You don't have to do anything. Key pair, whatever you want to select. Okay. The only thing in the network, it is going to change. Okay. Previously, we are using the default network. Okay. Now I am using some custom network. I will click on edit. I don't want to use this VPC. Which VPC I want to use? This one, 10.11.0.0/16. I will select this. Inside this VPC, how many subnet I created? 2 subnet. So I have to select any one of the subnet. Make sense? Okay, currently I created both the subnet in 1A, but you can create the subnet in different abilities also. So take an example. Currently I want to start with subnet 1. So if I'm going to start with the subnet 1, so our IP will start with 10.11.1. And this last value, this 0, can be anything, right? Because if we written /24, that means it can take any value between 0 to 255. And that's why total 256 computer can be possible. But if you'll see here, what they will say is total how many IP addresses available? 251. Why? Till now I did not created any computer, but still where that 5 IP address went. So this 5 IP address is taken by the router creations, switch creations. There are some components they create internally, right, to make this entire thing functioning, right? So for that they reserve the 5 IP address, AWS, okay, in its subnet. So that's it. Auto assign public IP, click on enable. And as soon as I'm going to launch instance, you'll see a new instance will start with the IP called 10.11.1, and this last one can be init. So launch instance. So a new instance got launched, my EC2. What is the IP they are getting? 10.11.1 and any random value. Make sense? So this we created in our own. Okay. And this is present in some different VPC. It is 0850, whatever my VPC is there. Okay. So this computer, if you think that this computer can communicate to this computer, cannot possible. Okay, you cannot directly connect using the private IP. Maybe public IP you can connect because outer world connection I given to this machine also, right? So using the public IP, you can communicate from this laptop to this laptop also. Okay. But using the private IP, if you think from this computer you can connect to this computer, cannot be possible. Using private IP, they can only communicate to the computer that will be present in the same VPC. So if I'll again click on launch instance, so since we already created one machine, okay, in the subnet 1, so now total number of IP address will not available is 251. Now total how many remaining will be happen? 250. Okay, if you'll see here, my VPC subnet 1. So total how many IP addresses available? 250. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So, but in the subnet 2, it is still 251 because till now I did not created anything in the subnet 2. Right? So as more and more machine you will create, this number will decrease. So this is the entire flow that you have to understand. Okay, now I can terminate this instance. So any confusion up to here?
So when we terminate the instance, actually it is going to stop the Network for the EC2 instances?
Terminate means you forgot about this laptop, right? So
Yeah.
now everything will be deleted from here, right? But your VPC, everything will be still there now. You just terminated the laptop. That's it. It is something like this. You bought a laptop from the market, you connect it to your home network, then again you sell that particular laptop, right? So nothing will be affected in your home network, right? Just the thing is, you'll be not able to use that particular laptop. That's it.
Oh, it is for internal network only, not for not from the outside, like
Yes.
from the internet
Yes.
connection.
Yes.
Okay.
Now this particular BPC is there. Now if I want to delete this BPC, so again the process is complicated. Okay. First I have to remove the internet gateway from here like this. I have to detach it from the BPC. Okay. Once this it will be detached, then only we can delete, and make sure you are not deleting the default one. If you delete the default one, it will be big blunder in your AWS account. Okay. So always try to double check it. Whatever you created, that only try to delete it. Okay. So I'm just deleting this internet gateway. So now, since we deleted the internet gateway, now if we try to launch any machine or something, it cannot be possible because you don't have the proper communication. So how it will work? Similarly, route table, whatever I configured, if I want to delete it, okay. So first I have to remove the subnet association from this, okay, and I am removing the subnet association. Then I will come to this route table, whatever I created. Which one I created? Okay, this is my route table. So now I can just delete this. So
So
like
can
this
we
way, you
use
have,
IPTV connection for this network?
which one?
IPTV network, IPTV's box. It will be we will have a box, right? Like Apple TV box.
Okay.
So can we?
But no, these all are the connection on top of the AWS cloud, right? Whatever the infrastructure present on the AWS data center, that only you can control, no?
Okay.
Right? Like see, whatever the router, switch, everything you are creating actually, right? But this
Uh-huh.
all things is not creating in your laptop, personal laptop or something. No? These are getting created in a AWS data center,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why we choose the abilities on 1A, 1B, 1C like that, right? So
Yeah.
that is your home devices, right? But you are not
Mm-hmm.
setting up. But if you are doing this entire infrastructure, like you are going to the market, you are buying the router component, you are going to the market, you are buying the switch component, right? And you are trying to set up the entire thing in your home, then you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So
what.
that type of, yeah, so that type of the things we say it as a on-premise, right?
Yeah.
Companies
Yeah.
say that we are using the cloud environment, we are using the on-premise environment, right? On-premise is basically this thing only, where they are buying all the component, okay? And cloud is basically the rental model, where we took rent on all these models, everything, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. So here see that deleting everything is difficult. We have to first delete the internet gateway, then dissociate the sub router, then we have to manually delete the subnet, right? So this is a time taking process also, and then we have to manually delete it. It will take time. So that's why this entire thing, whatever I said, you manually creating the BPC, setting up the CIDR block, everything, what we are going to do is we'll be creating using the Terraform. Okay. So by just a single command, we'll be creating entire infrastructure, and whenever we want to delete it, we'll just hit the command called Terraform destroy, and they will destroy all the resource. Okay. So the entire things basically I explained you. Okay, what are the prerequisite? We have to create a network, we have to create an internet gateway, we have to attach the internet gateway, we have to create two subnets, we have to create an routing table that will transfer this traffic to the internet gateway, right? And then we have to associate this route table. So this 5 to 6 step we have to done. Now these all things we automate by writing the code. Okay. Like we'll be creating a code block for creating the VPC, then for creating the internet gateway, then creating the subnets, then creating the route table, right? Then we have to associate the route table. Whatever the things we done, that exactly same thing we'll be doing by writing the code. And once that is done, we'll see that entire VPC setup will be completed like this by the code. Okay. So this will be the next class we'll be taking, and that will be the last class. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's all for today. Try to practice it. Okay. This document, I think it's up to date, right? Terraform document is up to date for you. So just go through it. Okay. And at least some basics, and you can search little bit about the VPC, right? In the Google or something, there are so many interesting blogs you'll see. And if you'll try to learn little bit blogs, everything VPC and whatever the concept I given you by this home connection, everything, right? Then you will be easily able to explain all the things. And if you are able to explain VPC in your company's interview, right? So definitely you are going to be hired there, because there are very few person in the world like they know actually the internally how VPC works. Okay, how router communicate, how switch communicate, how they are able to communicate, why we are sending the traffic to the outer world, right? So that type of the communication will come when you try to read one or two more blocks like this. Okay, so that is easily available. Okay, so yeah, now you know the concept. So if you'll see the blocks, if you'll read it 5 to 10 minutes, you will start to correlate the things. Okay, these things we got, this thing we got, like that. Okay, just try to remember this figure. If this figure is clear, everything will be clear to you. Okay. Okay, thanks all of you.
Okay, thank you.